My name is Kanita Smailbegovic, and I'm the director and the owner of a recruitment agency based in Sarajevo named Unidad. I started the agency in the beginning of 2023, and the initial idea was to create a transparent and reliable connection between the Bosnian employers and the foreign workers. I think we were definitely among the first ones to start, because back then the employment of foreign workers was still a taboo topic and no one was actually doing it. Definitely in the beginning I was doing all by myself. I was handling the whole process, so the legal procedures, the contact between the workers and the employers, everything. And it was, to be honest, an emotional roller coaster, because there were so many problems. I remember the first group of the workers, we were working on their cases for around 6 months. And we got the work permits, the invitation letters, everything. But on the last step of the procedure, that is the Visa D, their visa applications were rejected. And we did not get any real feedback why, not like one good reason why it was like that. It was, like you can imagine, very frustrating. So then we started with another group, and another group managed to get the visas, but for some reason that is until this day unfamiliar to me, they were denied boarding on the plane in their country of origin. So yes, definitely it was a huge blow, and back then it was really a totally unstable process, and you could never be 100% sure that you will get the workers in the end. But still, I wanted to shut down the agency many times, and thank God I didn't. Until now, it's been going much better. Now the work is much more stable, things have started falling into place. Now we have more trust from the clients, the whole process is more efficient, and I think that now we can have some certainty that the workers will be able to come and that they will start working for the Bosnian employers.
In her busy Sarajevo office, Kanita Smailbegovic scrolls through CVs from Bangladesh to Nepal. Her agency has placed dozens of foreign welders, chefs and drivers, part of the 3,000 permits approved last year. She talks about her company's journey in this new phenomenon for Bosnia and the Balkans. Demand is soaring, and so are the questions. Slow paperwork, potentially problematic housing, language barriers. In this episode, we talk about how the new recruitment boom is delivering and where it's still falling short. I speak about these topics with Kanita Smailbegovic, founder and director of Unidad agency that brings foreign workers to Bosnia and Herzegovina, Priya Rawat, a foreign worker employed in Sarajevo hospitality industry, and Almin Imamovic, deputy director of the Service for Foreigners Affairs of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Okay, so everybody, welcome to our second Bosnia and Herzegovina episode when we are talking about foreign workers in the region. With us today is Mr. Almin Imamovic, Deputy Director of the Service for Foreigners Affairs of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Priya Rawat, migrant worker from India, employed here in Sarajevo, and Kanita Smailbegovic, Director of Unidad agency, an agency specialized exactly in bringing these foreign workers to Bosnia and Herzegovina. Welcome to Al Jazeera Balkans. Priya, let's start with you. You come from India. How did you learn about Bosnia, about opportunities here, and in the end, what made you decide and come here?
Yeah, I heard about many things about the Bosnia before, and I learned many things when I came here. Before I saw some videos, some pictures, I Googled some of the more things about the Bosnia, and the culture is very different. You know, this is like India is like a totally different country, and this is totally different. So I just want to take the experience, you know, new experience. So we will learn more things if we'll go outside somewhere. So my experience is very nice here, and the culture is very different, the language is very different. So I learn slowly, I'm learning the language. So that's great. My experience is very nice here. And the environment is very nice. My colleagues and my managers, everyone is very nice here. And about my company, that's totally great. I'm in the right place and right time. Everything is good here. So I'm very happy. So I'm here with you right now, and I'm working in Metropolis, and that's a great thing for me.
Excellent. Mr. Imamovic, you started your work in field offices like Tuzla, Miral, and Lipa. And this is something I need to say is a different type of migration you worked with before. You were appointed Deputy Director in December 2023. How did this operational experience shape your understanding of where the existing system works well and where it breaks down?
Okay, thank you for the invitation. It's nice to be here. It's a good question. I'm going to take you all the time talking about myself. I'm kidding. Yes, I started with the SFA like 15 years ago as a field inspector. Then I moved to Velika Kladuša immigration camp. Then I got appointed as a first state coordinator at the Lipa camp in Bihać. And working on the field, that's something amazing. That's the real place where you can see how things really works. What can you implement? What problems do we have? And I can say we did pretty much good things down there. And of course, we had some issues, like lack of communication with the management sometimes, communication with the different NGOs or the agencies. But at the end, I think we did a good job. Now, at this point, as a deputy director, what I'm trying to do is to pass my knowledge to younger colleagues at the SFA and try to encourage them how to make decisions and to deal with that.
And how have your obligations and the focus of your work, have they changed in the past year or two?
Yes, when I was a field inspector, I had only one job, to take care about the camp. Now I have to look at the whole perspective within the SFA, to take care about visa, residents, immigrants. You know, the immigration work, illegal immigrants are only like at 20% of our entire job, what we have to do within the SFA.
And now the foreign workers are also part of it?
Yes, of course. Yeah, we deal with that every day. That's the biggest challenge for us right now.
Okay, we'll get back to the challenge.
Yes.
Kanita, as I said, you work, you represent this agency, this middleman, let's say. Can you walk us through this process of bringing foreign workers to Bosnia and Herzegovina? Where are the main difficulties, and why is your position specific here and special?
Thank you for inviting me. This process is quite complicated and long. The first step is to make a good selection of the worker. After that, we need to get an official diploma recognition. This is usually done in the Ministry of Education. Depends, it can be federal or cantonal ministry. Then after that, second step is to get the work permit. This step is handled by the cantonal or federal employment service. Then we have a service for foreigners affairs, who usually takes part in getting the invitation letters from the employer attested. This is the part where the service usually does the security checks of both the workers and the company. And if that turns out to be okay, then we go to the next step, which is Visa D. This is currently the biggest problem because it takes a lot of time to get it done. And then if the application is successful, the last step is to get the temporary residence permit for the worker. The worker needs to apply for this permit personally after his arrival to Bosnia.
Okay.
So regarding the part of the question where you asked what are the biggest difficulties, the process is, you can see, really complicated and long. It takes from, let's say, average 6 to 8 months, but in some cases it can even take up to a year, which is quite long. Also, I think the biggest challenge is that a lot of the institutions involved are understaffed, especially embassies and employment services. They just don't have the capacity to handle the growing number of applications, and they're usually overwhelmed. Next big problem is the lack of digitalization. So absolutely everything in the process is paper-based. The companies need to prepare several sets of the same documents and hand it into different institutions several times in the process. So this is really an administrative burden. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort.
And it's probably not even very motivating, not for both for the employer and for the employee, because if you need to wait for somebody for a year, maybe there's other options available.
Not only that, but the situation changes, in the market.
Of course.
Some companies, after several months, they don't need that worker. They need a different kind of worker. Or the worker finds a different job. So yes, that procedure takes a lot of time and complicates things.
And Priya, in your case, how did this process look? How long was your waiting time? How difficult was it compared to your previous and other experiences?
For me, it was taking like 9 months, approximate 9 months, and it was quite bit longer time. We are waiting 9 months. It's a bit longer. It's about 1 year, so it's quite hard to wait for this. And about this difficulty you are talking about, so the quite difficult is for the visa. Sometimes the embassy, they reject it. So this is quite difficult because if you need to, for the next thing or next country you are going to visit some embassy, they are going to ask you why they reject it or something. So it's quite difficult in the embassy as I visit to the embassy. So that is the person who was sitting over there is quite, question is like different, like they're confusing,
Okay.
They're making us like typical questions like how you're gonna stay over there and which day your flight, like these kind of questions, which might be you get confused in these questions if you're not fix your things. So that is a hard part, And apart from that, the waiting time only.
The waiting time.
Yeah, it's bit quite longer. So
yes, it seems to be a common problem for everyone.
yes.
Are there any signs that these waiting periods could shorten in the future?
Okay, just like Kanita said, if you want to get a residence, you have to go through 2-3 different agencies. You have to get the work permit and to apply for the residence permit with the SFA, then to apply for visa, depends what they look for first. And by my personal opinion, if we want to get this process fast, we have to change the law. Yeah.
That's what I meant with the question.
Yes, we have to change the law. We can make our communication between agencies better, but we have a law requirements that we have to fulfill. For example, I don't know if you know what's going on in Serbia. Recently they changed the law, and now you can get the work permit and the residence permit at the one agency. And that way they speeded up process a lot. And they extended the period of work permit from 1 year to 3 years.
Okay.
That's a big deal. We have to do something like that. Otherwise, even we make our communication better and coordination, the process will be pretty much same. Because you lose 2 months with the work permit, 2 months with the residence permit, or visa permit, and it's going to take 4, 5, 6 months until you get a foreigner here in the country.
So basically the process of handling work permits on one hand, and then accession to quotas on the second hand, and resident permit applications are not aligned?
They are aligned, but you cannot get the residence permit until the work permit is issued. They cannot apply for that. And unfortunately, I'm not sure, but here I think in Federation it takes like 2-3 months until the employment agency issue the work permit. Yeah. Just for that, yeah.
So you think that changes in laws would ensure...
Only changes in laws and the digitalization of processes. We must let the people to apply online to avoid all of this paperwork and administration and things like that.
Yeah. So Priya, in your case, it wasn't online. How did this as Mr. Imamovic is saying, we need to digitalize. So, and just can you tell us how it looked in your case?
For me, so yeah, it's I gave my interview like in a video call, obviously, and through the Zoom, and after that, it was okay for me. It was okay, but because I worked before like few countries, so as per that, I think the procedure it's okay, but the time is like quite longer.
I understand.
Yeah.
And Kanita, how important is the role of these private companies and agencies like yours in this whole process? If I may add, throughout this whole process of filming this series, we understand that on one hand, employers are the ones who are playing a very big role in this whole story, because they are navigating and coming up with solutions that don't exist. However, what is the role and what can be the role of people like you?
Well, first of all, I think that our biggest role in this whole story is to do a really good selection of the workers, because this step is what defines the whole story until its end. Good agency should make the right selection, find a suitable candidate. In the first place, understand the needs of the employer, and based on that, do this, all kinds of qualification checks, background checks of the workers, and select the best suiting candidate for that specific company. If so much time and money is wasted on selecting a wrong candidate, then this is definitely a failure on the agency's part. So that's the first step. Second role that I think that agencies have is definitely navigating through this really complex administrative procedure, because if all of the documents that are needed for the procedure are accurate and are all in place, then it's a lot easier for the institutions to do their job. It's faster, it just makes everything a lot easier. And finally, once the worker reaches to Bosnia, I think it's very important that the agency takes part in their integration, because we are the first contact that they have in Bosnia, and we need to help them, provide them with any sort of advice they might need, basically be a link between them and the employer, even once they're already here. So I always say that communication is the key part here. Always keep communicating with both the employer, with both the worker, and then any problem that might arise, it's a lot easier once you deal with it from the beginning and not later on when it turns to something bigger.
You opened the topic of integration, which is this whole story does not work without integration that goes along during this whole process of these people coming to our countries and to our societies. Maybe Priya, to ask you, when we talk about integration, I know you haven't been here for a long time. You said something around 2 months.
Yeah.
But how are you with language learning? Is this something that falls on you to organize, that you learn the language? Does it fall on somebody else? Not just the language. How are you acclimating and integrating into the society?
Yeah, it's a bit hard. Yeah, for me it's a bit hard. The language is totally different. Totally means like not nearby in our language. Like I worked previous like in different countries, so I know their languages. I know Arabic language very well because I work over there. So I catch their language very, very fast. But here it's really hard for me. But I'm learning. I'm trying to learning. But it's not that much hard. But it's a bit hard. Yeah, it's very different. And about the people, as I like notice the things, people giving the priority to speak their own language only. Even they know English as well. They are giving the priority to speak their own language. That's good. It's quite good. But it's hard for another people who is coming from from other countries. It's quite. So this is my concern.
I understand.
Yeah.
And language aside, how do you feel that you could, you know, that this society could accept you for who you are, and that there could be a
Yes.
a working relationship here?
Yeah, it's quite good, and I have interact with many of my customers, who is my regular customers, and now they're being my good friends as well. So
Okay.
the people are very nice here. The part is just for the language barrier, and apart from that, people is very nice here. Environment is very good. That's great. Like,
Okay.
it's very nice for me.
Okay, Mr. Imamovic, before I ask you about the vision in the future for both the agency and Bosnia, how do you see this integration, and do you think that the relevant actors in Bosnia are aware of the importance of conducting integration properly in order for us to not have the scenarios that we see in France, than we see in many European countries where foreigners are often marginalized, put in ghettos, with which we don't have a chance for integration, and we have very polarizing communities.
Unfortunately, the integration is not really our mandate with the SFA, but as far as I know, the social agencies here in Bosnia, they do the good job, especially the NGO agencies. They have great projects and programs for integration of foreigners. I was a witness of some programs in the camps, and I can say that it will be done in a good way.
Yeah?
Yeah. I believe so.
You trust the process?
Yes, I trust the process.
And Kanita, when we talk about integration, how do you view it as yourself, but also what key roles do you see these different actors playing in integration process in Bosnia?
Well, I think the biggest role is that of the employer, because employers are usually the ones who greet the workers at the airport. They usually make some dinner for them so they feel more welcome. And definitely, I think they have the biggest role. But beside them, it's very important that also the agencies take part in helping the workers and offer them, assistance. Because in some cases, there will be situations where they might not feel comfortable talking to the employer, especially when there is some problem with the employer. But I also think that in this regard, we need to make some changes. First, we need to make like a better system of communication between the institutions, the employer, the worker, so that we can coordinate all the problems that might arise. And also, I think that there needs to be some kind of independent body that's going to be there for the worker, and where the workers will be able to go and communicate all the problems that they might have, especially the ones regarding the employer, so we avoid any form of abuse. Yeah, definitely. I think that's very important.
Priya, can you tell us, since you had experience working in different countries, maybe can you tell us the differences when it comes to foreign workers and your skin? How did you feel there, and how do you feel here, and what could be done better in Bosnia?
As per another country you're talking about, right? So it's quite different because it's a different part, as you know. This is totally different part. So I have a good experience as well here, and it's like as per language and as per culture, it's very different.
Do you think that there could be more Asian and Indian shops in Sarajevo?
Yes, of course. The restaurants, the shops, the things which we are comfortable with, the spices and the vegetables, like the basic things, it is not available here, as I noticed. And as I worked before, like previous countries, like UAE side, so you'll get everything over there. As per the countries, you will get everything, as I noticed here. So here, less shop, no, not that much restaurants for Indians or any other like cuisines. I didn't notice like.
Okay. So this is something we need to work on.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Mr. Imamovic, as deputy director, with all the experience you have, what is your vision that you want to see the service evolve into within the next, let's say, 5 years? What kind of changes do you think are needed, structural, technological, or cultural, in order to be on time with the growing trends when we talk about mobility?
As you know, migrations are changing every day. We have more and more people keep coming here in the country to work, to live, to pass through the country. We even have illegal immigrants keep coming. And what we have to do, we are extremely understaffed. And the first step would be to hire more people in the agency so we can be service for foreigners by all means. Can you imagine just if I say that back in 2024, we had 200,000 visitors from Turkey here in the country, just from one country. And the other thing that we have to do as soon as possible to provide online services, so people can apply online and get a faster answer, to train our people. And in that case, I believe in about next 3 to 5 years, we would be like an example how a small country like Bosnia can manage migration in a proper and a human way.
Excellent. And Kanita, for the end, it's going to be a twofold question. One aspect is protection of workers. We spoke about this. How is it being carried out in Bosnia? Is there a fear of potential abuse of workers, and how is it being handled and prevented on one hand? And then on the other hand, before we started filming, you mentioned that at the same time, while you're bringing workers from India, Nepal, and Bangladesh, there are agencies in Bosnia that are exporting Bosnian workers. So I just want to hear, how do we know what kind of workers we're bringing or what the needs of the market are?
Okay, so I think the biggest danger is the recruitment process itself, and also, of course, the time they're hired in Bosnia. But regarding the recruitment process, it's very important to state that by Bosnian law, it is prohibited for agencies to charge any fee to the worker. This applies to local agencies. But in countries such as India, Nepal, Bangladesh, in some cases, it is not prohibited by law for their recruitment agencies to charge fees to the workers. So it is very important for the employers and Bosnian agencies to carefully select their partners abroad. They need to work with trustworthy partners who take their job seriously and ethically to avoid financial exploitation of the workers. Of course, once the worker reaches Bosnia, they're protected by the same labor laws as the domestic workers.
Okay.
So all of the wages, regulations, contracts, and everything else is basically the same as for the Bosnian workers. I think that in the future we might have, when the recruitment becomes more widespread, I think we might have some problems in this sense. But right now, I think that the employers are taking their role pretty seriously, and that they're providing the workers with pretty decent accommodation, and that they're respecting their rights as it should be.
Okay. Well, with this, we're going to end our discussion and conversation. I want to thank you, Kanita, Priya, and Mr. Imamovic, for speaking to us on this important and timely topic.